YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, back in another online battle. This time it's going to be Wood Elves versus Dawi, and this is going to be an interesting build that was put together by one of my viewers who believes that Waywatchers have a lot to offer against the Dwarves. Now, Dwarves do have shields. Any units that don't would, of course, suffer mightily under the hands of Waywatchers, who can stay away from the range of Quarrelers if they're careful. But the Dwarves do have a lot of shields, and that can sometimes be a problem for Waywatchers, but let's see how it works out. Waywatchers have excellent armor-piercing damage and extremely long range, and they can fire in all directions, and you can see they can kite just outside of the range of the Quarrelers here. It will take a certain degree of skill to keep them out of there. Look at these Longbeards. Woo! Already taken a beating. They may have got hit by an Arrows of Kronos there, too. No, I don't think so, actually. Just look at the damage these Waywatchers are inflicting here. And they're going to have to continually run away from these Ranger... Well, actually, these are Rangers? Ooh. I do believe Rangers have a shield, but their armor is lower. So the Waywatchers just need to stay outside of the range of the Rangers. There is a Flame Cannon and a Goblobber. But as the Waywatchers, you can see here, they can stay hidden and fire. And as they stay at long range, they can remain hidden like that. These ones are getting really close here to these Rangers. Yeah, they're spotted now. But they're trying to get shots off on these Longbeard infantry, and they're doing a tremendous amount of damage. I'm not sure why the Rangers aren't firing back. Oh my goodness, that Arrows of Kronos there, brutal. And you can see the Wood Elf infantry is stationed way back here in order to just basically keep the Dwarves busy. Now, the Dwarves don't have a gyrocopter. They don't have any Slayers. And even if they did have Slayers, the Waywatchers can run and fire. These ones are a little bit far off now. They're going to want to come back over here. But right now, the Dwarf is trying pretty hard to focus on these two Waywatchers, and they are visible, so the Goblobbers are able to put some fire, and then the Rangers are firing at the Glady. Woo! Prey of Anathema is going to get these Rangers absolutely nuked, but of course the Glady right now is about to get nuked also. The Flame Cannon probably won't hit the Glady, so she'll be relatively safe from it, but that is a lot of missile fire, and there's Rangers with great weapons marked by Ulthar trying to slow down the Glady. But look at these Waywatchers now completely behind the Dwarf and potentially able to get up in here and wreck the Flame Cannon and the Goblobber, which is really the only threat that the Dwarf player has right now for these long-range Waywatchers, because they are getting picked apart. Already quite a few kills on these guys. Let's see. Yeah, look, they're in range of the artillery back here, and they're still hidden. Yep, that's what they're going to fire at. The Goblobber is about to bite it. Look at this. Really cool use of Waywatchers. I haven't seen someone use them kind of real crafty like this, and it's a perfect pick to do it against the Dwarves. Now, 44% negation here because the Dwarf player knows what's going on. Let's see how much it helps. I would think he's still going to tear up the Goblobber pretty quick, but I could be wrong. Oh, those Rangers with great weapons got close to the Glady. She's having to use the Potion of Toughness here. Don't think there's a... Yeah, there is a Spell Singer if needed later. Yeah, the Waywatchers back here didn't do a ton of damage, actually, to the Goblobber. There comes another Arrows of Kronos. 43 kills already on the Glade Lord, but there's a lot of fire coming back from the Dwarves. He's got a lot of tools to shoot back with, but the Waywatchers using their range and speed to very good effect here. That Goblobber is taking some serious damage now. And it's an important unit here, because it can put pressure on these Waywatchers as long as they're visible. And if the Elf Infantry ever approaches and the Goblobber is still alive, it can do tremendous damage. Rune of Oath and Steel is boosting the armor of these units. And there's a Rune of Negation, but the Waywatchers, if they're smart, they'll just wait. Look at this. Quarrelers now getting wrecked. Wow, there's 4 Quarrelers and the Rangers that were killed earlier. Prey of Anathema again. The Waywatchers are going to make short work of these Quarrelers with all that weakness to missile fire. Glady's taking more shots, and the Ulthar's Raiders are moving up here, but this Quarreler gets pretty well wrecked. Oh, those Goblobber shots, though. Brutal. Looks like the Waywatchers here now trying to get behind the infantry and shoot them in the back where their shield can't protect them. So very persistent harassment here. by the Wood Elf player. And this is with the Dwarf player who has a lot of tools to use against these Waywatchers too. I mean, this is a considerable amount of skirmishers. Look at all the Quarrelers and Rangers. And then the Goblobber and the Flame Cannon. There's considerable might to be brought to bear. I'm surprised the Flame Cannon hasn't been firing more. I would think that the Waywatchers are in range. So just more and more work. The Waywatchers using their ammo. They are getting a pretty fair number of kills. 58 there, 66, 34. And it looks like the dwarves are going to boost their armor with the Master Rune of Oath and Steel. Glady just took a rock to the face. Rock with a goblin tied to it at that. And now the Flame Cannon. I can't believe the Flame Cannon isn't trying to target. It's targeting the Glady. It really needs to try and target these Waywatchers when they become visible. Another shot all over these Longbeards. They're getting hit in the unshielded flank. So I think it'll bypass their shield to a certain degree coming in from that flank. 67 kills on the Glady. Let's see, here comes the Waywatchers firing off some of the last of their ammo. So the dwarves are still going to be left with a fair number of skirmishers and a decent amount of ammo, despite the best efforts of the Waywatchers. So the Elven infantry is going to have to come forward at some point. Got a marked by Ulthar here. And the Runesmiths and the Rune Lord trying very hard to buff the damage resistance and the armor of the surrounding Dawa units. A Prey of Eneth used here, and the Waywatchers are going to try and make use of that. I like the synergy there, using the Waywatchers to strike whatever unit gets hit by the Prey of Eneth. And there's definitely all manual targeting here from the Waywatchers. So nicely done there, maximizing the damage. A couple more volleys left from the Waywatchers. And remember, the Waywatchers get extra damage when they're firing from a range beyond 70 meters from their enemy, I believe. So the Waywatchers get a pretty excruciating amount of damage, in fact. Glady can still heal quite a bit as if the Spellsinger comes up. Still no movement from the Elven infantry at this point. Let's fast forward. Not a whole lot of ammo left on the Waywatchers, but they're going to take their last few pot shots. Look at that, 83 kills, 77 kills. This is a very persistent Elven skirmish play here, and look at that, dodging the Flame Cannon. Flame Cannon now actually taking hits from the Glady, who puts it under Prey of Eneth I believe. Continually trying to do damage. Look at her flying around here. Now, she did get healed by the Spellsinger, but she can no longer heal. 80 kills on the Glady. Waywatchers, 82, 72, 77, 83. Here comes the Wood Elf infantry. Front line of Eternal Guards with shields. They'll block a little bit of this missile fire, but let's see what happens. Woo! That Flame Cannon, though. When it hits, folks. It's going to do some serious damage. So, Eternal Guard, the back line of Wildwood Rangers can certainly cause a lot of damage. The Glady should be able to help damage Dwarf Infantry pretty successfully. But there are a lot of Dwarven missiles here, and if they target the Wildwood Rangers, it's going to be bad news. Marked by Ulthar, that is bad news indeed. Flame Cannon hits mounting. And the Runesmith and the Rune Lord is going to be able to do tremendous damage to the Wildwood Rangers. Let's see what happens here. Okay, Wildwood Rangers. So the Wildwood Rangers kind of coming in from the flank here. The Waywatchers are not bad in melee. If they can get into like the Quarrelers or something, they'll kind of be decent. The Glady's going to land. The Flame Cannon continues to fire. That is a good hit, man. It's doing tremendous damage to the Wildwood Rangers. Flame Cannon didn't do a lot earlier, but it has racked up 46 kills. And it's getting some really important damage done. Look at these Wildwood Rangers just being burned to the ground. Alright, the Ruins coming in. Okay, yeah, the Waywatchers being used against the Dwarf Skirmishers. I like that. I think it's a good place for them. And some of the Wildwood Rangers are going to make it into combat. The Spell Singer is going to come up, should be able to drop some much-needed healing. But unfortunately for the Wood Elves, so many unit models actually lost to that Flame Cannon, which is now being silenced, but it got 65 kills and picked up a Chevron. The Flame Cannon can be useful if it can ever get into the right situation. Like right there, the Elves didn't have an answer to it, and when it got some shots, it did incredibly well. Now there's a very healthy unit of Wildwood Rangers here that's going to do well. The Waywatchers picking up a few kills, but this one over here is entangled with the Longbeard as well, so that's not going to be great. But if the Wildwood Rangers can get in and kill enough dwarf infantry, the Waywatchers will actually be quite good at holding out for a good while here against the dwarf skirmishers. They're continuing to pick up kills in melee, so they're actually getting to be used for their alternative purpose here. Got some Waywatchers coming in here that's going to wreck what's left of the Longbeards. I think it's a Longbeard or a Ranger unit. No, it's a Ranger unit. Yeah, the dwarves are in trouble. Only the Rune Lord and the Runesmith are really hanging in there. The rest of their infantry just chain routed. This Longbeard will be kind of hard to rout, but there's plenty of Wildwood Rangers free now. The Runesmith is wavering. If the Runesmith leaves the battlefield, I mean, it's already pretty hopeless. But this was not a completely one-sided battle. The dwarves definitely had some tools, and I thought some skillful play there on behalf of the Wood Elf player actually made this a pretty tight battle. Look at that dragon. Aren't you excited for Warhammer 2? The breath attacks from the dragons, gonna be freaking awesome. That was a fun replay, it really was. Sure hope y'all enjoyed that one. Thank you for sending that in, Zablasky. That was really cool. Like the Waywatcher use there, it wasn't a complete kite army, but it was an army that took some patience and some micro skill with the Waywatchers. And again, look at the skirmishers. 6 skirmishers, and then a hybrid skirmisher and 2 artillery pieces, and the Wood Elf player was still able to use the Waywatchers successfully. So very interesting indeed. Now gyrocopters would be a risky pick against something like this too, because Waywatchers would chew through gyrocopters, I believe. So the dwarves may have trouble. Waywatchers may be a unit that is somewhat tailor-made for helping to take out dwarves. I think on an open map they make more sense. On a heavily forested map where the dwarves could hide there, I think it would get pretty rough. But I like the patient play. Shoot in the back where you got the opportunity. Use them with the Prey of Anathema, so you get the synergy with the Glady, who picked up 111 kills by herself too, which was pretty impressive. And then bringing in the infantry only after the enemy was sufficiently weakened to be engaged, and not throwing away these units too early in the battle. Fun stuff. Hope y'all enjoyed that. That was a fun match. Hey, appreciate MSI being a great sponsor, and I thank you for being here. I hope you're enjoying these videos. I love making them for you. Every day it's a privilege when I get to do so. Tell me what you like to see. What other types of stuff do you want to see? And I appreciate those submitting this replay, or these replays, the ones you've been watching. Always make sure to thank them too if you enjoy it. And if you want to send me replays, you can send it to airtotalwar@gmail.com. That's airtotalwar@gmail.com. So you can take your replay file from the folder in Warhammer and just attach it to the email if you want to submit it to me. I will see you all next time. HeirofCarthage signing out, folks.